When Adaeze returned from the farm, exhausted and covered in sweat, she found Obi waiting for her. His eyes were bloodshot, and the smell of alcohol clung to him like a second skin. Adaeze, he slurred, I can no longer tolerate your nagging. You are a burden to me. Leave this house and never return. Once upon a time, in the heart of eastern Nigeria, nestled between lush green hills and flowing rivers, lay the picturesque village of Ndim. The village was a place of vibrant culture and rich tradition, where the laughter of children and the rhythmic beats of drum filled the air. The people of Ndim were known for their hardworking nature and communal spirits, always coming together to celebrate festivals and support each other in times of need. Among the villagers lived a man named Obi, tall and broad shouldered. Obi possessed the physique of a man who should have been a strong and diligent worker. However, his physical attributes belied his true nature. Obi was notorious for his laziness and irresponsibility. While other men worked diligently on their farm or engaged in trade to provide for their families, Obi squandered his days in idleness. He spent his time lodging under the shade of the Iroko tree, telling tall tales and indulging in palm wine at the village tavern. Obi's wife, Adaeze, was the antithesis of her husband. She was a petite woman with a heart full of determination and resilience. Her beauty was matched only by her unwavering work ethic. Adaeze toiled tirelessly from dawn till dusk, managing their small farm and household chores. Despite her efforts, she barely had enough to eat because Obi's habits drained whatever she managed to earn. Every morning, as the first light of dawn kissed the village, Adaeze would rise and prepare a modest meal of yam and vegetables. She would then head to their small farm, her baby tied securely to her back with a colorful wrapper. With a hoe in her hand, she would walk the land, planting and tending to their crops. Her hands bore the calluses of her labor, yet she never complained. At night, while other families sat together to share stories and meals, Adaeze would return to find Obi already drunk and sprawled on the mats. Her heart ached with the burden of their plight, but she remained steadfast, hoping that one day Obi would change. Despite her husband's irresponsible behavior, Adaeze continued to hold on to hope. She often reminisced about the early days of their marriage when Obi was full of dreams and aspiration. She remembered how he would talk passionately about expanding their farm and providing a better future for their family. Those memories fueled her determination to keep going, believing that the man she fell in love with was still there, somewhere beneath the layers of his current self. Adaeze's parents, Okeke and Nneka, were always there to support her. They lived in a modest home on the outskirts of Ndim, where they cultivated a small but prosperous farm. Okeke, a man of few words but immense wisdom, often visited his daughter to offer advice and encouragement. Nneka, on the other hand, was a vibrant woman who never missed an opportunity to remind Adaeze of her strength and worth. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Okeke and Nneka sat with Adaeze on their veranda. They had brought her some fresh produce from their farm, a gesture of love and support. My daughter, Okeke began, his voice calm and steady. You are a pillar of strength. Do not let Obi's action break your spirit. Remember, the river cuts through rock not because of its power, but because of its persistence. Nneka nodded in agreement. Adaeze, you are doing everything you can. Sometimes people must find their own way to change. Keep faith in yourself and the rest will follow. Adaeze smiled, grateful for her parents' unwavering support. Their words gave her the strength to face another day, hoping that her perseverance would eventually inspire Obi to change. One fateful day, a group of Obi's friends gathered under the Iroko tree. They were men of dubious character, known for their mischief and troublemaking. They had grown tired of hearing Obi complain about his wife's nagging and constant reminder of his failures. They decided to plant an idea in Obi's mind. Obi, said Ikenna, the ringleader, why do you let the woman control you? You are a man, and a man should be free to live as he pleases. If Adaeze is such a burden, why not send her away? You can find another woman who will not nag you. Obi, his mind clouded by palm wine, nodded in agreement. The thought of living without Adaeze's constant reminder seemed appealing. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Obi staggered home with a plan in mind. When Adaeze returned from the farm, exhausted and covered in sweat, she found Obi waiting for her. His eyes were bloodshot, and the smell of alcohol clung to him like a second skin. Adaeze, he slurred, I can no longer tolerate your nagging. You are a burden to me. Leave this house and never return. Adaeze's heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. She looked into Obi's eyes, hoping to find a hint of remorse or hesitation, but there was none. With tears streaming down her face, she packed her few belongings and left the home. She walked through the village, her head held high despite the pain in her heart. The villagers, who had always admired her strength and dedication, watched in silence as she made her way to her parents' home on the outskirts of Ndim. Adaeze's parents were full of wisdom. They welcomed their daughter with open arms, offering her comfort and solace. Despite their age, they worked diligently on their farm. Adaeze, determined not to be a burden, immediately began to help them. Days turned into weeks, and Adaeze poured her heart and soul into her parents' farm. Back in Ndim, Obi soon realized the gravity of his mistake. Without Adaeze, his home fell into disarray. His debts piled, and his friend who had encouraged his reckless behavior abandoned him one by one.